There's no propaganda here, there is no exaggeration. The wave of civil disobedience is unprecedented in mainland China since President Xi Jinping assumed power a decade ago. Frustration is mounting over principally his signature COVID policy nearly 3 years into the pandemic. But as these violent protests spill across China's biggest cities and towns, the ruling Communist Party has defended its crackdown on its people as necessary to crack down on infiltration and, I quote, hostile forces. But the world is watching and global economies have condemned Xi Jinping's crackdown on his own people. It's getting from bad to worse. Take a look at this report. Protests seeking freedom from zero COVID norms spread to more cities of China. From Xinjiang in the west to Shanghai in the east to the capital city of Beijing, angry demonstrations are raging and intensifying. Fresh protests have also erupted in Guangzhou and Xi'an. Mainland China's biggest wave of civil disobedience since the 1989 Tiananmen protests come as its economy sputters after growing at a breakneck rate for decades. Blank sheets of paper have become a protest symbol in China. The government is using drones to snoop on citizens. Amidst this massive outrage, the Xi Jinping government has hinted at relaxing zero COVID curbs to quell public anger, saying it will take steps to minimize the impact of sustained COVID lockdowns.
Implementing sufficient measures would be enough. Since not everybody can make a living from home and many people are under a lot of financial pressure, they can't bear being in lockdown for too long. I think protesting is reasonable.
China is following a draconian lockdown policy, often barricading cities with heavy security deployment. The protests in the last few days have raised political temperatures, with even calls for Xi's ouster being made, something unheard of in China.
Just identify the close contacts and quarantine them. There is no need to quarantine the whole building or the whole neighborhood. Not everyone is a close contact.
The world is watching the protests against the Chinese government closely. The United States has expressed concern over the state of Chinese residents.
We support the right of people everywhere to peacefully protest, to make known their views, their concerns, and their frustrations.
Thank you very much for having me. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has also hit out at China, stating that the UK's golden era with China is over.
Now let's be clear, the so-called golden era is over. Instead of listening to their people's protests, the Chinese government has chosen to crack down further.
Will the simmering discontent with China's stringent COVID-19 prevention policies 3 years into the pandemic prove to be a setback in any way whatsoever for Xi Jinping? Bureau Report, India Today.